The laptop was still warm when I found it hidden under a stack of towels in our bedroom closet. The screen was black, but when I moved the mouse, it came alive to show a live chat feed with messages that made my blood run cold. Roos is so cute when he sleeps, and how much to wake him up? And thanks for the show tonight. Cherry, here's $500. My name is Roosevelt Jackson, but everyone calls me Roos. I'm 52 years old, and I just discovered that my wife Cheryl has been live streaming our bedroom to paying customers for over 3 years while I slept, completely unaware that thousands of strangers were watching our most private moments. Cherry_Dreams23 is offline. Read the notification on the screen. Below it was a payment summary that made me sick. Tonight's earnings, $847. Total this month, $23,450. Total all-time, $127,983. $127,000. My wife had earned $127,000 by secretly broadcasting our bedroom to strangers on the internet. As I scrolled through the chat logs, I saw comments about my sleeping habits, my snoring, what I wore to bed, and detailed discussions about times when Cheryl and I had been intimate. All of it watched and commented on by paying subscribers who knew my name, my routines, and intimate details about my life that I'd never consented to share. Roos always falls asleep by 10:30 p.m., one regular commenter had written. Cherry times her best content for after he's out cold. He has no idea we're all watching, another had replied. It's like the ultimate reality show. Cherry, you should charge extra for the nights when Roos doesn't wear a shirt, suggested another subscriber. I love watching him get ready for work in the morning, added someone with the username SecretWatcher99. I was reading comments from strangers who knew more about my sleep schedule than my own family did. People who had been watching me for years without my knowledge or consent, while my wife collected thousands of dollars for providing them access to our private life. But as I kept reading, I realized that live streaming our bedroom was just the beginning of what Cheryl had been doing behind my back. The laptop contained multiple browser tabs for different streaming platforms, a business plan for expanding her content creation, correspondence with other women about monetizing marriage without husband consent, and detailed financial records showing earnings that exceeded both of our regular jobs combined. I was about to discover that my wife had turned our entire relationship into a business venture, and I was the unknowing star of a performance that had made her rich while violating every boundary of privacy and trust in our marriage. Let me take you back to 2019, when Cheryl first mentioned wanting to earn extra income from home, and I had no idea she was planning to turn our private life into a public spectacle for profit. I was 48 years old, working as a maintenance supervisor for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Parks and Recreation Department. I'd been with the city for 18 years, starting as a groundskeeper when I was 30 and working my way up through dedication and reliability. I was earning $58,000 annually plus excellent benefits, health insurance, dental, vision, and a solid pension plan that would provide security in retirement. It was steady, honest work that I took pride in. I managed a team of 12 maintenance workers who kept Charlotte's parks beautiful and functional for hundreds of thousands of residents. We maintained playgrounds, sports fields, walking trails, and community centers across the city. Roos is the kind of employee every supervisor wishes they had, my boss Mike Henderson would tell new hires. Reliable, thorough, and genuinely cares about doing good work. I'd wake up at 5:30 a.m. every morning, have coffee and toast, kiss Cheryl goodbye, and be at work by 7 a.m. I'd spend my days coordinating maintenance schedules, inspecting facilities, and working alongside my team to keep Charlotte's parks in top condition. It wasn't glamorous work, but it was meaningful. Families used the playgrounds we maintained. Athletes competed on the fields we cared for. Seniors walked the trails we kept safe and clean. You make a difference in people's lives, Cheryl used to tell me. Maybe not in obvious ways, but you help create spaces where people make memories and stay healthy. Cheryl was 45, working part-time as a receptionist at Dr. Patricia Williams' dental office. She'd been there for 6 years, working 20 hours a week for $15 per hour, which came to about $18,000 annually. She'd chosen part-time work when our daughter Madison started high school so she could be available for school events, after-school activities, and family responsibilities. I want to be present for Madison's teenage years, she'd explained when she reduced her work hours. These are important years, and I don't want to miss them because I'm working full-time. Dr. Williams appreciated Cheryl's reliability and professionalism. Cheryl is the face of our practice, she'd tell patients. She makes everyone feel welcome and comfortable. Cheryl's job involved answering phones, scheduling appointments, managing patient files, and handling insurance paperwork. It was organized, detail-oriented work that suited her personality. We'd been married for 12 years and had what I thought was a solid, loving relationship. We'd met in 2007 when Cheryl brought her previous car to the city garage where I occasionally helped with fleet maintenance. "You're very thorough," she'd said, watching me inspect her brakes. "Most mechanics just do the minimum." "I believe in doing things right the first time," I'd replied. "Your safety depends on these brakes working properly." I appreciate someone who takes responsibility seriously. We'd started dating 3 months later, and I'd been impressed by Cheryl's intelligence, warmth, and commitment to building a stable life. She was a single mother raising 10-year-old Madison, working full-time as a medical records clerk, and going to school part-time to earn her associate degree in business administration. "I want to build a secure future for Madison and myself," she told me during one of our early dates. "I'm looking for a partner who shares that goal." "That's exactly what I want too," I'd said. "Someone who values stability and is willing to work for it." We'd married in June 2008 with a small ceremony at Mount Olive Baptist Church. Madison, then 11, had been our flower girl and had seemed genuinely happy about gaining a stepfather. "Roos treats me like his own daughter," she'd tell her friends. "He's the best dad I could have asked for." I'd legally adopted Madison when she was 13, and she'd taken the Jackson name. Being her father was one of my greatest joys and responsibilities. By 2019, we owned our 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood near Sugar Creek, had modest savings of about $35,000, and were living comfortably within our means. Madison was a junior in high school, planning to attend UNC Charlotte to study elementary education. "We've built a good life together," I'd tell Cheryl during our evening walks around the neighborhood. "Steady income, safe home, strong family relationships." "We have," she'd agree. "But sometimes I wonder if we're being too conservative." "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe we could be doing more to build wealth instead of just maintaining stability." "We are building wealth. Slowly but consistently. Very slowly. At this rate, it'll take us 20 years to have significant savings." That's how most people build wealth. Time and consistent effort. Some people build wealth much faster. By taking risks that we can't afford to take. Or by finding opportunities that we haven't considered. These conversations were becoming more frequent in late 2018 and early 2019. Cheryl seemed increasingly focused on our financial progress and comparing our situation to other families who appeared to be advancing more quickly. "The Hendersons bought a new SUV," she'd mention after seeing neighbors pulling into their driveway. "Good for them. They both work full-time, but their combined income isn't much more than ours. Maybe they financed the SUV. Maybe they're willing to take on debt that we're not comfortable with. Or maybe they've found ways to increase their income that we haven't considered. Such as side businesses, investments, additional income streams." Are you interested in starting a side business? I'm interested in exploring our options for increasing our income. What kind of options? I don't know yet, but I feel like we're not maximizing our potential. Cheryl's desire to increase our income seemed reasonable, though I was puzzled by her urgency about it. Our financial situation was stable and improving gradually. My salary increased by 2 to 3% annually, we were paying down our mortgage, and we were building savings consistently. But Cheryl seemed to think we needed dramatic income increases rather than gradual wealth building. In early 2019, Cheryl started expressing more specific frustration about our financial situation and talking more concretely about wanting to earn additional money. I feel like we're just getting by instead of getting ahead, she said one evening as we reviewed our monthly budget. We're doing fine. We're comfortable and secure, and we're making progress toward our goals. Comfortable isn't enough anymore. I want to be able to travel, upgrade our house, have nicer things, help Madison with college expenses without stress. We can do those things eventually. We just need to be patient and save consistently. I don't want to wait 10 years to have the life I want now. What kind of life do you want now? I want financial freedom. I want to make enough money that we don't have to worry about every expense or plan every purchase months in advance. That's a reasonable goal. How do you think we can achieve it? I need to find a way to make more money. A lot more money. Have you thought about going back to school or getting additional training for a higher-paying job? I've thought about it, but that takes time and money we don't have. Plus, traditional jobs have income limits. What about finding a different job or going full-time at the dental office? Dr. Williams can't afford to pay me full-time, and most full-time reception jobs don't pay much more than what I'm making now. What kind of work do you think has unlimited income potential? Online businesses, content creation, digital marketing. I've been reading about people who make 6 figures working from home using the internet. What kind of work do they do? Lots of things. Content creation, mostly. They build audiences and monetize them through subscriptions, advertising, and exclusive content. What kind of content? Whatever people want to see. Lifestyle content, educational content, entertainment content, personal content. Do you have ideas for content you could create? I'm still researching different options, but I think I have qualities that people would be interested in. What qualities? I'm attractive, personable, comfortable on camera, and good at connecting with people. I think I could build an audience if I found the right approach. Cheryl's interest in content creation seemed like a reasonable exploration of new income opportunities, though I wasn't sure what specific content she was planning to create or how she would build an audience. Throughout 2019, Cheryl became increasingly absorbed in researching online income opportunities. She'd spend 2 to 3 hours every evening on her laptop, watching YouTube videos about digital marketing, reading blogs about content creation, and participating in online forums about entrepreneurship and online business. I'm learning so much about the potential for online income, she'd say. There are people making more money in a month than I make in a year. What are they selling? They're not selling traditional products. They're selling access to themselves. What does that mean? They're building personal brands and monetizing their personalities, lifestyles, and expertise. How do you monetize a personality? By giving people what they want to see and charging them for the access. What do people want to see? Authentic, intimate content that makes them feel connected to the creator. Intimate content. Personal content. Behind-the-scenes content. Content that feels exclusive and special, like they're getting access to someone's real life. And people pay for that? People pay significant amounts for that. Some content creators have thousands of subscribers paying $10 to $50 per month for access to exclusive content. That's a lot of money. That's just the beginning. Some creators make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year from subscriptions, tips, and custom content requests. Cheryl's explanations were becoming more specific, but I still didn't understand exactly what she was planning to do or what kind of content she thought people would pay to see. What kind of content are you thinking about creating? I asked. I'm still researching different approaches, but I'm thinking about lifestyle content that documents real married life. Real married life. Authentic relationship content. How real couples interact, what real marriages look like day to day. The unfiltered experience of building a life together. Would this involve me and Madison? It would involve our family life, but I'd be the primary creator and host. I'm not comfortable being on camera or having our private life broadcast to strangers. You wouldn't have to do anything actively. I'd handle all the content creation and audience interaction. But if you're documenting our family life, wouldn't we automatically be part of the content? You'd be part of the background context, but the focus would be on me and my perspective on our life together. I don't think I'm comfortable with that. You don't have to be actively involved. I just need you to not interfere with my content creation. What does not interfering mean? It means letting me film and document our life without complaining or trying to control what I share. What if I don't want to be filmed or included in content? Then you'd need to find somewhere else to be when I'm creating content. In my own house? This would be my business, Roos. I need space and freedom to build it without interference. Cheryl's content creation plan was becoming more concerning to me, but she seemed determined to pursue it regardless of my comfort level or consent. In late 2019, Cheryl announced that she'd decided to start her lifestyle content business and had been researching the technical and business aspects of content creation. I'm going to document our life and build an audience of people who are interested in our story, she told me. What story? Our story as a married couple building a life together. People are fascinated by authentic relationships and real-life experiences. What would you document? Daily routines, conversations, activities, the real unfiltered experience of marriage and family life. How much time would this content creation require? As much time as necessary to build a successful business. How much money do you expect to make? The potential is unlimited. Some content creators make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Hundreds of thousands of dollars from documenting daily life? From building loyal audiences who pay for exclusive access to premium content. What's premium content? More personal, more intimate content that's only available to paying subscribers. How intimate? As intimate as necessary to satisfy audience demand and maximize revenue. I'm not comfortable with intimate content involving our marriage being shared with strangers. The content would focus on my experience of marriage, not on our marriage specifically. Your experience of marriage includes me as a participant. Your participation would be minimal and voluntary. How can my participation be voluntary if you're documenting our shared life? You can choose how much you want to be involved in the content creation process. But I can't choose whether I'm included in the content itself. You can't control what I document about my own life. Your life includes our shared life. My content would focus on my perspective and my experiences. The conversation revealed the fundamental conflict that would define our relationship for the next 3 years. Cheryl believed she had the right to document and monetize her life regardless of my consent, while I believed that documenting her life inevitably included documenting our shared life and my privacy. But at the time, I thought her content creation was a phase that would either fail quickly or evolve into something more reasonable. I was wrong on both counts. In January 2020, Cheryl officially launched what she called her lifestyle content business. She set up accounts on multiple platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and several subscription-based content platforms that I'd never heard of. She invested about $3,000 in camera equipment, lighting, and editing software, using money from our joint savings account. This is a business investment, she explained when I questioned the expense. You have to spend money to make money. $3,000 is a significant investment for something that might not generate any income. All businesses require startup capital. This is no different from opening a restaurant or retail store. Restaurants and retail stores have proven business models. Content creation is much less predictable. Content creation is the future of business. Traditional businesses are becoming obsolete. What if the content business doesn't work out? It will work out if I commit to it completely and don't let doubt or interference sabotage it. For the first few months of 2020, Cheryl's content creation seemed relatively harmless. She'd film herself cooking dinner, talking about her day, sharing thoughts about marriage and family life, and discussing goals and challenges. Her early videos were typical lifestyle content, morning routines, cleaning tips, marriage advice, and personal reflections on building a life with someone. How's the content business going? I'd ask periodically. It's growing slowly but steadily. I'm building a subscriber base and learning what kind of content resonates with people. How many subscribers do you have? About 150 across all platforms, but they're very engaged and supportive. How much money are you making? Not much yet, but the potential is building. Content creation is about long-term audience building, not immediate income. When do you expect to start making significant money? Once I reach a certain subscriber threshold and develop premium content offerings. What's premium content? More personal, exclusive content that subscribers pay extra to access. Such as behind-the-scenes content, private conversations, more intimate glimpses of our real life. I'd occasionally appear in the background of videos, but Cheryl seemed to respect my preference for not being the focus of her content. Her early videos were clearly focused on her perspective and her experiences. But as 2020 progressed, the content creation became more elaborate and time-consuming. Cheryl was filming 2 to 3 hours of content per day and spending an additional 2 to 3 hours editing videos and interacting with subscribers. This is becoming like a full-time job, I observed. It is becoming a full-time job. Building a successful content business requires total commitment. What about your job at the dental office? I've already talked to Dr. Williams about reducing my hours. The content business has more potential than receptionist work. You're making enough money from content to replace your dental office income? Not yet, but I'm building toward that goal. Dr. Williams understands that I'm pursuing entrepreneurship. How much are you making from content? A few $100s a month, but it's increasing consistently. A few $100s isn't enough to replace a regular job. The growth potential is exponential. Once I break through to the next level, the income will be substantial. What's the next level? Premium subscribers who pay monthly fees for exclusive access to special content. What makes content special enough to justify monthly fees? Intimacy, authenticity, and exclusivity. People pay for access to experiences they can't get anywhere else. By summer 2020, Cheryl's content creation had evolved beyond simple lifestyle videos to include what she called interactive content and subscriber engagement activities. She was doing live streams where subscribers could chat with her in real time, ask questions, and make requests for specific content. My audience wants more interaction and more personal connection, she explained. Live streams allow me to provide that. What kind of interaction? Real-time conversation, answering questions about marriage and life, showing subscribers what I'm doing throughout the day. What kinds of questions do they ask? Personal questions about our relationship, our daily routines, how we handle different situations. Personal questions about our relationship. Questions about my experience of marriage and what married life is really like. Are you sharing details about our private relationship with strangers? I'm sharing my perspective on married life. People are curious about authentic relationships. What's authentic about sharing private details with paying subscribers? What's authentic is giving people honest answers about real experiences instead of pretending that marriage is always perfect. There's a difference between being honest about marriage challenges and sharing private details about our specific relationship. I'm careful to focus on general experiences rather than specific private details. But general experiences in our marriage are still our private experiences. They're my experiences of our marriage. The distinction Cheryl was making between her experiences and our experiences was becoming a central point of conflict, but I still didn't understand how extensively she was sharing details about our private life. In fall 2020, I started noticing changes in Cheryl's behavior and our household routines that made me increasingly uncomfortable. She was staying up much later than usual, often working on her laptop until 2 or 3 a.m. "What are you working on so late?" I'd ask. "Content creation and subscriber interaction. My audience is most active in the evening hours." "What kind of interaction happens at 2 a.m.? "Live chats, private messages, custom content requests." "Custom content requests." Subscribers sometimes request specific content tailored to their interests. "What kind of specific content?" "Different things. Personal stories, lifestyle advice, demonstrations of daily routines." "Demonstrations of daily routines?" "Showing how I do things like my evening routine, getting ready for bed, relaxing at home." "You're filming yourself getting ready for bed?" "I'm documenting authentic lifestyle content that subscribers find interesting and valuable." "Why would strangers find your bedtime routine interesting and valuable?" "Because it's intimate, authentic content that makes them feel connected to my real life." Intimate bedtime content. Personal content that shows the real, unfiltered experience of daily life. Cheryl was also becoming more secretive about her laptop and content creation activities. She'd close the laptop screen when I walked into the room, and she was protective about her workspace and equipment. "I need privacy to create authentic content," she explained when I commented on her secretiveness. "Privacy from your husband?" "Privacy to be myself without feeling self-conscious or monitored." "I'm not monitoring you. I'm just interested in what you're doing." "Your interest affects my ability to be natural and authentic on camera. So I'm not allowed to know what kind of content you're creating?" "You're allowed to know, but you don't need to observe the creation process." "What if I want to understand your business better?" "You can understand my business without interfering with my creative process." How is asking questions interfering? Because content creation requires a specific mindset and energy that's disrupted by outside observation. By winter 2020, Cheryl's content business was generating what she described as significant income, though she was secretive about the exact amounts. "How much money are you making now?" I asked during one of our budget discussions. "Enough to justify the time investment." "Can you be more specific?" "A few $1,000s a month." "A few $1,000s? That's more than your dental office job." "Significantly more. Which is why I've decided to quit the dental office and focus on content creation full-time." "You're quitting your regular job?" "I'm transitioning to full-time entrepreneurship." "What if the content income doesn't continue?" "It will continue as long as I keep providing what my audience wants." "What does your audience want?" "Authentic, intimate access to real married life." "How intimate?" "As intimate as necessary to maintain subscriber loyalty and growth." I was increasingly concerned about the direction of Cheryl's content business, but she was generating substantial income, and I didn't want to discourage her entrepreneurial success. I was also working longer hours at the Parks Department due to COVID-related budget cuts that had reduced our staff, so I wasn't paying as much attention to Cheryl's activities as I probably should have been. In early 2021, Cheryl announced that she was upgrading her content creation equipment and expanding her business model. "I'm investing in professional-grade cameras and lighting equipment," she told me. "How much is that going to cost?" "About $8,000, but it's necessary for creating the quality content that my audience expects." $8,000 for camera equipment? Professional content creation requires professional equipment. My subscribers expect high-definition video and professional lighting. Where are you planning to set up this equipment? Throughout the house, depending on the content I'm creating. Throughout the house? Different rooms provide different content opportunities. Kitchen content, bedroom content, living room content. I don't want cameras set up throughout our house. The cameras are only active when I'm creating content. When are you creating content? Various times throughout the day and evening, depending on audience demand and content opportunities. Content opportunities. Moments when interesting or engaging things are happening that would appeal to my audience. Such as daily routines, conversations, relaxation time, evening activities, authentic married life moments. Evening activities? Whatever we're doing in the evening. Watching TV, reading, talking, getting ready for bed. You're filming our evening routines? I'm documenting authentic married life, which includes evening routines. I'm not comfortable with cameras filming our evening routines. The cameras are part of my business equipment. They're necessary for content creation. Then create content that doesn't require filming our private routines. Private routines are what my audience pays to see. My private routines are not for sale to your audience. Your routines are part of the background context of my life documentation. I don't consent to my routines being background context for paying strangers. Your consent isn't required for me to document my own life in my own house. This conversation was the first time Cheryl explicitly stated that her audience was paying to see our private routines, which raised serious concerns for me about what exactly she was creating and sharing. But when I tried to ask more specific questions about her content, Cheryl became defensive and accused me of trying to sabotage her business success. You don't understand the content creation industry, she said. You're applying traditional privacy expectations to a modern business model. What's the modern business model? Authentic lifestyle documentation that gives subscribers intimate access to real experiences. Intimate access to our real experiences? Intimate access to my real experiences as a married woman. But my experiences are part of your experiences as a married woman. Your experiences are background context for my experiences. I don't consent to my experiences being background context for paying strangers. Your consent isn't required for me to document my own life. Your life includes my life. My content focuses on my perspective and my experiences. While filming in our shared house during our shared activities. While documenting my daily life, which happens to take place in our shared space. Throughout 2021, the camera equipment became a permanent fixture in our house. Cheryl had professional cameras and lighting set up in the living room, kitchen, master bedroom, and what she called her content creation office in our spare bedroom. The equipment was expensive, sophisticated, and designed for professional video production. It wasn't the simple webcam setup I'd initially imagined. How many hours per day are you filming now? I asked. Content creation is ongoing. I film throughout the day as opportunities arise. What are content opportunities? Interesting moments, authentic interactions, daily activities that provide value to subscribers. Value to subscribers. Entertainment, education, inspiration, or intimate access to real married life. What kind of intimate access? Access to experiences and perspectives that subscribers can't get anywhere else. Such as behind-the-scenes glimpses of how a real marriage works, authentic conversations, real daily routines. Including private conversations and activities? Including authentic moments that help subscribers feel connected to my life. Connected to our life. Connected to my life, which includes my marriage. I was becoming increasingly frustrated with Cheryl's refusal to acknowledge that her content creation involved me as an unwilling participant. But she was generating significant income. She claimed to be earning $4,000 to $6,000 per month, and I didn't want to interfere with her business success if she could do it while respecting my privacy. The problem was that I still didn't understand how extensively my privacy was already being violated. In late 2021, I started noticing that Cheryl's content creation schedule had expanded to include late night and early morning hours. Why are you working at 2 a.m.? I asked after being awakened by laptop sounds and notification chimes from our bedroom. Different time zones. My audience is global, so I need to be available during peak engagement hours. Peak engagement hours? Times when the most subscribers are online and active. What are they engaging with at 2 a.m.? Live content, real-time interaction, exclusive experiences. What kind of exclusive experiences? Content that's only available to premium subscribers during specific time windows. Why does that have to happen at 2 a.m. in our bedroom? Because that's when my audience is most active and most willing to pay for premium access. Premium access to what? To authentic, unfiltered moments. What authentic, unfiltered moments are happening at 2 a.m. in our bedroom? Whatever is happening naturally. Nothing is happening naturally at 2 a.m. in our bedroom except sleeping. Sleeping is content. Sleeping is content. Real-life content. Authentic lifestyle documentation. You're filming me sleeping? I'm documenting real married life, which includes sleeping. I don't consent to being filmed while I sleep. You're not the focus of the content. You're background context. I don't consent to being background context for paying strangers while I sleep. Your consent isn't required for me to create content in my own bedroom. This conversation was deeply disturbing to me, but Cheryl was adamant that she had the right to film content in our shared bedroom regardless of my consent. I was also becoming concerned about what premium subscribers were paying to see at 2 a.m. in our bedroom, but I still didn't understand the full scope of what was happening. Throughout late 2021 and early 2022, I became increasingly suspicious about the scope and nature of Cheryl's content creation. She was spending most of her waking hours on content creation and audience interaction, and she was generating income that she claimed was approaching $8,000 per month. But she was also increasingly secretive about the specific content she was creating and the specific services she was providing to subscribers. What exactly are subscribers paying for? I asked during one of our conversations about her business. Access to my lifestyle content and personal interaction. What's personal interaction? Live chats, private messages, custom content creation. Custom content creation? Content tailored to specific subscriber interests and requests. What kind of requests? Various things. Personal questions, lifestyle advice, demonstrations of daily routines. What kind of demonstrations? How I do things, how I organize my day, how I approach different aspects of married life. Are these demonstrations filmed in our house? Yes, because that's where my life takes place. Are they filmed during times when I'm present? Sometimes, but you're not the focus. But I'm visible in the content. Sometimes you're visible, but you're background context. I've never given permission to be visible in content that strangers are paying to access. You don't need to give permission for me to document my own life. Your life includes my life and my presence. My content focuses on my experiences and my perspective, while including my image and my presence without my consent. While documenting my authentic daily life, which includes my marriage. By mid-2022, Cheryl's content business was consuming most of her time and attention. She was working 12 to 14 hours per day on content creation, editing, and subscriber interaction. She was also earning what she described as substantial income, though she remained secretive about exact amounts, and had begun talking about content creation as her career and our house as her studio. This isn't a hobby anymore, she told me. This is my profession. What kind of profession involves filming our private life for paying strangers? Content creation is a legitimate industry with millions of creators and billions of dollars in revenue. Content creation about what? Lifestyle, entertainment, education, personal experiences. Personal experiences including our marriage? Personal experiences, including my experience of marriage. Your experience of marriage includes me as an unwilling participant. Your participation is minimal and voluntary. My participation is constant and involuntary. You're choosing to live in the same house where I create content. I'm choosing to live in my own house. You're choosing to film content in our shared house. I'm choosing to build a career that allows me to work from home and generate substantial income for our family. By violating my privacy and using my image without consent. By documenting my own life and experiences. The conflict between Cheryl's content creation and my privacy concerns was intensifying, but I still didn't understand the full scope of what she was doing or how extensive the violation of my privacy had become. I was also increasingly concerned about the impact on Madison, who was now a senior in high school and applying to colleges. "Mom's always filming stuff," Madison mentioned one evening when Cheryl was out getting groceries. "It's kind of weird." "What do you mean?" "She has cameras everywhere, and she's always talking to her computer like there are people watching." "Are you comfortable with the cameras?" "Not really. I try to stay in my room when she's doing her content stuff." "Have you talked to her about your concerns?" "She says it's her business and that I don't understand how content creation works." "What don't you understand about it?" "I don't understand why strangers want to watch videos of our family life, and I don't understand why she thinks that's normal." Madison's perspective confirmed my concerns about the impact of Cheryl's content creation on our family privacy and relationships. But when I tried to discuss Madison's concerns with Cheryl, she dismissed them as teenage resistance to change. "Madison will understand when she's older and sees how successful the business has become," Cheryl said. "She's concerned about privacy and the impact on our family. She's concerned about things that don't affect her. My content focuses on my experience of married life, not on Madison. Your content is filmed in our shared house where Madison lives. Madison has her own space and her own privacy. My content creation doesn't interfere with her life. She says she has to stay in her room to avoid being filmed. She chooses to stay in her room. I don't require her to avoid the common areas. But your cameras are in the common areas. My cameras are in areas where I create content about my life. The common areas are where all of our lives take place. The common areas are where my life takes place, and my life is what I document." In fall 2022, I started noticing technical equipment in our house that I didn't recognize and that seemed more sophisticated than basic content creation equipment. There were small cameras mounted in corners of rooms that I hadn't noticed before, additional lighting equipment that was always set up, and what appeared to be streaming equipment connected to our internet router. "What's all this new equipment?" I asked. "Upgraded content creation infrastructure." "Infrastructure for what?" "Higher quality content and better audience experience." "Why do you need cameras in every room?" "Different rooms provide different content opportunities and allow for more comprehensive lifestyle documentation." Comprehensive lifestyle documentation? Complete coverage of my daily life and experiences. Why do you need streaming equipment? For live content creation and real-time audience interaction. You're live streaming content from our house? I'm providing live access to authentic lifestyle content. Live access to what? To my daily life and experiences as they happen, including times when I'm present, including authentic moments throughout the day. I don't consent to being live-streamed to paying strangers. You're not being live-streamed. My life is being live-streamed. Your life includes my presence and my activities. My life includes my experiences, which sometimes happen in your presence. So you're live-streaming our shared activities without my consent? I'm live-streaming my experiences, which sometimes include shared activities. This conversation made me realize that Cheryl's content creation had evolved far beyond occasional filming to include live streaming of our daily life to paying subscribers. But I still didn't understand the full extent of what she was sharing or how many people were watching our private activities. The conversation also revealed that Cheryl had moved beyond creating content for later upload to providing live, real-time access to our daily life. By early 2023, Cheryl's content business had become a 24/7 operation. She was constantly monitoring subscriber activity, creating content, and interacting with her audience. She'd wake up multiple times during the night to check messages and respond to subscriber requests. She'd film content during all hours of the day and night. She'd interact with subscribers while cooking, cleaning, watching TV, and even while lying in bed. She was also generating income that she claimed was exceeding $10,000 per month, making her content business more profitable than both of our previous jobs combined. "This business is transforming our financial situation," she told me. "We could pay off the house, take vacations, upgrade our lifestyle significantly." "How much money are you actually making?" "Enough to change our lives if you would stop fighting the business and start supporting it." "I would support it if it didn't involve violating my privacy." "It doesn't involve violating your privacy. It involves documenting my life. Your life includes our shared private moments. My life includes my experiences, some of which happen to occur in your presence." "Some of which?" "All of your experiences happen in our shared house during our shared life. My audience is interested in my perspective and my experiences, not in you specifically. But they're watching me as part of your experiences. They're watching my content, which provides authentic documentation of married life." "How many people are watching?" "My subscriber base varies, but I have over 2,000 regular subscribers who pay for access to premium content." 2,000 people are paying to watch content filmed in our house? 2,000 people are paying for access to my lifestyle content and personal interaction. What's personal interaction? Live chats, custom content, private messages, exclusive access to special content. What's special content? Content that's more intimate, more personal, more exclusive than regular content. How intimate? Intimate enough to justify premium pricing. The revelation that over 2,000 people were paying to access content filmed in our house was shocking to me, but I still didn't understand what specific content they were accessing or what intimate and exclusive meant in this context. I was also concerned about the amount of money involved. If 2,000 subscribers were paying $10 to $50 per month each, Cheryl could be earning $20,000 to $100,000 per month. "Are you paying taxes on this income?" I asked. "I'm handling all the business and tax requirements." "This is a significant amount of money. It needs to be reported properly." "I'm working with an accountant who specializes in content creation businesses." "You hired an accountant without telling me?" "I hired an accountant to handle my business requirements. This affects our joint tax filing and our financial situation." "This affects my business operations." "Your business operations affect our marriage and our financial situation." "My business operations are separate from our marriage. Not when they're conducted in our shared house using our shared life as content. They're conducted in my house using my life as content." The conversation revealed that Cheryl considered the content business to be entirely separate from our marriage, even though it was being conducted in our shared home and using our shared life as raw material. In spring 2023, I decided to investigate Cheryl's content business more thoroughly to understand exactly what she was sharing and how extensive the privacy violations had become. I started by observing her work schedule and content creation activities more carefully. Cheryl was active on her laptop almost 24 hours per day. She would wake up in the middle of the night to interact with subscribers, create content during all hours of the day, and respond to messages and requests constantly. Her laptop was never closed, and she was always monitoring chat feeds, responding to comments, and managing subscriber requests. "Why are you working at 3 a.m.? I asked after being awakened by notification sounds from her laptop. Global audience. Peak engagement times vary by time zone. What kind of engagement happens at 3 a.m.? Live interaction, real-time content creation, exclusive access sessions. What are exclusive access sessions? Premium subscribers pay for private, one-on-one interaction and custom content. What kind of custom content? Whatever subscribers request, within reasonable limits. What are reasonable limits? Legal content that doesn't violate platform terms of service. What kind of content do subscribers request? Personal questions, lifestyle demonstrations, intimate conversations. Intimate conversations about what? Marriage, relationships, personal experiences. Personal experiences including our marriage? Personal experiences including my experience of marriage. Which includes private details about our relationship? Which includes my perspective on married life. I was becoming increasingly concerned that Cheryl was sharing intimate details about our marriage and our private life with paying strangers, but I still didn't have a complete picture of what she was doing. I also noticed that Cheryl's laptop was always positioned so that the screen wasn't visible to me, and she would close it or change screens whenever I approached. Why are you so secretive about your laptop screen? I asked. I'm not secretive. I'm protecting subscriber privacy. Subscriber privacy? My interactions with subscribers are confidential. They pay for private access to my content and communication. What kind of private communication? Personal conversations, custom content requests, intimate discussions about life and relationships. Intimate discussions with strangers? Intimate discussions with subscribers who pay for personal access to my life and experiences. What does personal access mean? It means they get to interact with me directly and request specific content tailored to their interests. What kind of specific content? Whatever they're interested in seeing or learning about. Including content that involves me? Including content about my life, which sometimes involves you. I don't consent to strangers having personal access to content about my life. You don't need to consent to my interactions with my subscribers about my own experiences. In summer 2023, I decided to investigate Cheryl's content creation more directly. When she left the house for groceries one afternoon, I examined her content creation equipment and laptop to understand what she was actually filming and sharing. What I discovered was far worse than I had imagined. Cheryl had professional cameras and streaming equipment set up throughout our house, including hidden cameras in our bedroom, bathroom, and living areas that I hadn't noticed. The equipment was connected to streaming software that appeared to broadcast live video feed from multiple cameras to paying subscribers 24 hours per day. Our entire house was being live-streamed to strangers on the internet without my knowledge or consent. I checked the laptop and found multiple browser tabs showing live chat feeds where subscribers were commenting on our daily activities in real time. Roos is in the kitchen making coffee, one comment said, time-stamped at 6:15 a.m. that morning. He doesn't know we're watching, another replied. Cherry, can you get him to take his shirt off? Requested another subscriber. How much to wake him up during the 2 a.m. stream? Asked someone else. I love watching him sleep. He's so peaceful, wrote another. Cherry, you should position the bedroom camera better. We can't see him clearly from this angle, suggested another subscriber. The chat log showed thousands of messages from subscribers who were watching our daily life as entertainment, commenting on my appearance and activities, and making requests for specific content involving me. They knew my name, my work schedule, my daily routines, and intimate details about my life that I'd never consented to share. I scrolled through the payment records and discovered that Cheryl was earning between $12,000 and $18,000 per month from subscribers who were paying to watch our private life. Some subscribers were paying $50 to $100 per month for premium access to exclusive content and private interaction with Cheryl. Others were making one-time payments of $200 to $500 for custom content and special requests. The payment categories included basic subscription, $15 per month for standard live stream access. Premium subscription, $50 per month for HD streams and chat privileges. VIP subscription, $100 per month for exclusive content and direct messaging. Custom content, $200 to $500 per request for personalized videos. Tips and donations, $5 to $200 per tip during live streams. The total earnings over 3 years exceeded $500,000. Cheryl had earned over $500,000 by secretly live streaming our private life to paying strangers. But the financial exploitation was only part of the violation. I found folders of saved video content that Cheryl had been selling to subscribers, including footage of me sleeping, getting dressed, showering, exercising, and being intimate with her. Our most private moments had been recorded, edited, and sold to strangers without my knowledge or consent. The video files were organized by categories. Morning routines, me getting ready for work. Sleep content, me sleeping in various positions and clothing. Shower/bathroom, me bathing and using the bathroom. Intimate moments, us being physically affectionate. Arguments, recordings of our disagreements and conflicts. Weekend relaxation, me watching TV, reading, exercising. Each folder contained dozens of video files that had been sold to subscribers as premium content. The laptop also contained correspondence between Cheryl and other content creators who were sharing strategies for monetizing husbands without consent and maximizing revenue from authentic relationship content. The key is gradual escalation, one message said. Start with background presence and gradually increase intimacy level based on subscriber demand and payment willingness. My husband still doesn't know I'm streaming our bedroom, another creator had written. I've made $300,000 in 2 years from sleep streams and intimate content. Sleep streams are gold mines, Cheryl had replied. My subscribers pay premium rates for authentic sleep content and wake-up interactions. How do you handle the ethical concerns? Another creator had asked. What ethical concerns? Cheryl had responded. We're documenting our own lives. Our husbands benefit from the income even if they don't know where it comes from. My husband would be furious if he found out, another creator wrote. That's why they can't find out, Cheryl replied. What they don't know won't hurt them, and the money improves everyone's life. Cheryl was part of a network of women who were secretly exploiting their husbands for content creation income, and they were sharing strategies for concealing the exploitation while maximizing profits. The evidence I found showed that our entire relationship had been turned into a business venture without my knowledge, and that thousands of strangers had intimate access to my private life that I'd never agreed to provide. But discovering the evidence was only the first step. I needed to understand the full scope of the violation and develop a plan for addressing it. I spent several hours documenting what I'd found, taking screenshots of chat logs, payment records, video files, and correspondence with other creators. I also discovered that Cheryl had been using multiple cameras to capture different angles of our bedroom, bathroom, and living areas, providing subscribers with comprehensive coverage of our private life. The technical sophistication of the operation was staggering. Cheryl had essentially turned our house into a professional streaming studio with multiple camera feeds, professional lighting, and broadcasting equipment that provided 24/7 coverage to paying subscribers. That evening, when Cheryl returned from grocery shopping, I confronted her with what I'd discovered. Cheryl, I found your streaming equipment and your subscriber records. What streaming equipment? The cameras throughout our house that are broadcasting our private life to paying subscribers 24 hours a day. I don't know what you're talking about. I found the laptop with the chat logs and payment records. I know you've been live streaming our bedroom for over 3 years. Cheryl went completely pale and sat down heavily at our kitchen table. Roos, I can explain. Explain how you've earned over $500,000 by secretly filming our private life and selling it to strangers? It's not what you think. What is it then? It's a business. A successful business that's transformed our financial situation. A business based on violating my privacy and using my image without consent. A business based on documenting my life and providing authentic content to subscribers. Subscribers who are paying to watch me sleep, shower, and be intimate with you. Subscribers who are paying for access to real married life content. Without my knowledge or consent. Without your interference or sabotage of my business success. Cheryl, you've been secretly filming our most private moments and selling them to strangers for years. I've been building a successful content creation business that's made us financially independent. By exploiting me as unwilling performer in your business. By providing authentic content that subscribers value and are willing to pay for. Authentic content of my private life that I never agreed to share. Authentic content of my life, which includes my marriage. Your marriage includes me as an equal partner, not as content for your business. Your participation in my business has been minimal and passive. My participation in your business has been total and involuntary. You've benefited from the income even if you didn't know where it came from. I've been financially supported by money earned through violating my privacy and exploiting my image. You've been financially supported by my successful business ventures. Business ventures that involved secretly filming and selling my private life. Cheryl's justifications were the same arguments she'd been using for years, but now I understood the full scope of what she'd been doing and the extent of the privacy violation. The conversation revealed that Cheryl felt completely justified in her actions and had no intention of stopping the streaming or acknowledging the harm she'd caused. Are you going to stop the streaming? I asked. I'm not going to destroy a successful business because you're uncomfortable with modern entrepreneurship. Modern entrepreneurship doesn't include secretly filming and selling your spouse's private life. Modern entrepreneurship includes using available resources to create valuable content that people want to access. I'm not an available resource for your business. You're part of my life, and I have the right to document my life. You don't have the right to sell documentation of my life to strangers without my consent. I have the right to earn money from my own life experiences. Your life experiences include my life experiences, and you're selling access to my private moments. I'm selling access to my perspective on married life. Your perspective includes footage of me sleeping, showering, and being intimate with you. My perspective includes authentic documentation of real married life. The conversation made it clear that Cheryl had no intention of stopping the streaming or acknowledging that she'd violated my privacy and consent. Over the next several days, I investigated the legal and technical aspects of what Cheryl had done to understand my options for stopping the streaming and seeking accountability. I consulted with a privacy attorney who specialized in digital exploitation cases. Mr. Jackson, what your wife has done constitutes several potential crimes, Attorney Sarah Mitchell told me during our consultation. Unauthorized recording, invasion of privacy, exploitation of likeness for commercial purposes, and potentially voyeurism. What are my legal options? You can file for immediate injunctive relief to stop the streaming, pursue civil damages for the commercial exploitation of your likeness, and potentially file criminal complaints for invasion of privacy. How do I stop the streaming immediately? We can file for a temporary restraining order that would require her to cease all recording and streaming activities while the case is pending. What about the money she's made from exploiting my privacy? You're entitled to compensation for the unauthorized commercial use of your likeness and invasion of your privacy. How much compensation? Potentially the full amount she's earned from the streaming, plus additional damages for emotional distress and violation of privacy rights. What about criminal charges? That would depend on the district attorney's willingness to prosecute, but the evidence you've described could support criminal charges for invasion of privacy and voyeurism. How strong is my case? Very strong. The unauthorized recording and commercial exploitation of your private life without consent is a clear violation of multiple laws. What kind of evidence do I need? The chat logs, payment records, and video files you've documented provide extensive evidence of the violations. How long will the legal process take? The restraining order can be obtained within days. The civil case could take 6 to 12 months. Criminal prosecution could take longer. I also consulted with a cybersecurity expert to understand how to stop the streaming and secure our privacy going forward. Mr. Jackson, your wife has created a sophisticated streaming operation with multiple cameras and broadcasting equipment, the expert explained. Stopping it requires removing all equipment and securing your network and devices. How do I remove equipment that my wife claims is her business property? The legal injunction should give you the authority to remove equipment from your shared residence. What about content that's already been shared? Existing content can't be completely eliminated from the internet, but the platforms can be required to remove it and ban further distribution. How many people have access to this content? Based on the subscriber numbers you've described, thousands of people have viewed or purchased content featuring you without your consent. Can we identify who those people are? Platform user information is typically protected, but law enforcement or court orders might be able to access subscriber identity information. What about preventing future streaming? We'll need to secure your home network, remove all unauthorized equipment, and implement security measures to prevent future unauthorized recording. The expert also helped me understand the technical scope of the violation and the steps necessary to secure our privacy and prevent future unauthorized streaming. Armed with legal and technical advice, I developed a comprehensive plan for stopping Cheryl's streaming operation and seeking accountability for the privacy violations. On a Monday morning in August 2023, while Cheryl was out of the house, I implemented the plan. I filed for a temporary restraining order requiring Cheryl to immediately cease all recording and streaming activities. I hired the cybersecurity expert to remove all streaming equipment from our house and secure our network against unauthorized access. I filed a civil lawsuit seeking damages for invasion of privacy and unauthorized commercial exploitation. I contacted the streaming platforms to report the unauthorized content and request immediate removal. I also filed a criminal complaint with the local district attorney's office for investigation of privacy violations. When Cheryl returned home that afternoon, she found all of her streaming equipment removed and a copy of the restraining order requiring her to cease all content creation activities. "What did you do?" she asked when she saw the empty rooms where her equipment had been. "I stopped you from continuing to violate my privacy and exploit my image for profit. You destroyed my business. I protected my privacy rights and stopped your criminal activity." Criminal activity? I was running a successful business. You were secretly filming and selling our private life without my consent. That's criminal exploitation. That's entrepreneurship. That's invasion of privacy, voyeurism, and commercial exploitation without consent. You're going to destroy everything I've built. You destroyed everything we built when you decided to turn our marriage into a business venture without my knowledge. I made us financially independent. You made yourself financially independent by exploiting me as involuntary content for your business. The subscribers were paying for access to my life. The subscribers were paying for access to our life, including intimate moments that I never consented to share. You're being ridiculous about privacy. You're being criminal about exploitation. Cheryl was ordered to appear in court the following week to respond to the restraining order and the civil lawsuit. She was also contacted by the district attorney's office for an interview about the criminal complaint. The legal process moved quickly because the evidence of unauthorized streaming and commercial exploitation was extensive and undeniable. Within 2 weeks, the court had issued a permanent injunction prohibiting Cheryl from any future recording or streaming of content that included my image or likeness. The streaming platforms had removed the existing content and banned Cheryl from creating new accounts. The civil lawsuit was proceeding toward a settlement that would require Cheryl to pay damages for the unauthorized exploitation of my privacy and likeness. But the most satisfying outcome was the criminal prosecution. In October 2023, Cheryl was charged with multiple counts of invasion of privacy, voyeurism, and exploitation of likeness for commercial purposes. The district attorney's office had determined that her actions constituted serious criminal violations that warranted prosecution. Mrs. Jackson engaged in a systematic and prolonged campaign of privacy violation and exploitation, the prosecutor explained during the arraignment. She secretly recorded and broadcast her husband's most private moments for financial gain over a period of years. This type of exploitation is particularly harmful because it violates the victim's reasonable expectation of privacy in his own home and marriage. The defendant's actions were premeditated, sophisticated, and designed to maximize financial benefit while concealing the exploitation from the victim. The evidence shows that Mrs. Jackson earned over $500,000 by secretly filming and selling her husband's private life to paying subscribers without his knowledge or consent. Cheryl pled guilty to reduced charges in exchange for a sentence of 18 months in prison, 5 years of probation, and restitution of $550,000, representing the full amount she'd earned from the unauthorized streaming plus additional damages. She was also required to surrender all equipment used in the streaming operation and prohibited from engaging in any content creation that could involve unauthorized recording of other people. The sentence was a complete vindication of my privacy rights and a strong message that this type of exploitation would be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But the legal victory was only part of the recovery process. The psychological impact of discovering that my most private moments had been watched and commented on by thousands of strangers was devastating. I entered therapy to process the violation and develop strategies for rebuilding my sense of privacy and security. How do you move forward after such a profound violation of trust and privacy? My therapist, Dr. Rebecca Martinez, asked. One day at a time, I replied, and with the knowledge that I fought back and won. What's the most difficult part of the recovery? Knowing that intimate moments that should have been private between my wife and me were entertainment for strangers who paid to watch them. How do you process that violation? By focusing on the fact that I stopped it, held her accountable, and protected my rights. What about rebuilding trust in relationships? That will take time. But I know what signs to watch for now, and I'll never ignore red flags about privacy and consent again. What signs will you watch for? Secretiveness about technology and income, requests to film or document private activities, any suggestion that privacy is less important than financial opportunity. What about forgiveness? Forgiveness might come eventually, but accountability came first. Cheryl had to face consequences for her actions before any healing could begin. The therapy helped me understand that the violation I'd experienced was a form of abuse that required both legal accountability and psychological recovery. 6 months after Cheryl's sentencing, I reflected on the 3 years of unauthorized streaming and the legal battle that followed. Cheryl had earned over $500,000 by turning our private life into entertainment for paying subscribers without my knowledge or consent. She'd convinced herself that her actions were entrepreneurship rather than exploitation, and that my privacy was less important than her financial success. The streaming operation had involved thousands of strangers who watched our most intimate moments, commented on my appearance and activities, and paid for access to content that I'd never agreed to provide. The violation was both financial and personal. Cheryl had profited from exploiting my privacy while destroying my sense of security and trust in our marriage. But the legal system had held her accountable, and the criminal prosecution had sent a clear message that this type of exploitation wouldn't be tolerated. The restitution had compensated me financially for the exploitation, and the prison sentence had provided appropriate consequences for the privacy violations. Most importantly, the legal victory had restored my sense of agency and control over my own life and privacy. A year after the streaming stopped, I started dating again. How do you trust someone after being exploited so thoroughly? Asked Maria Santos, a teacher I'd been seeing for several months. Very carefully, I told her. But I also know what to watch for now. What do you watch for? Transparency about technology use, respect for privacy boundaries, honest communication about money and business activities. What if someone wanted to create content that included you? They would need to ask for my explicit consent and give me full information about what would be shared and who would see it. What if they claimed they needed privacy to create authentic content? Authentic content doesn't require secrecy from your partner. If someone needs to hide their content creation from their partner, they're probably doing something wrong. What about financial opportunities that might involve privacy trade-offs? No financial opportunity is worth violating someone's privacy without their consent. Money doesn't justify exploitation. How do you balance supporting a partner's goals with protecting your own rights? By ensuring that both people are fully informed about what's happening and both people consent to any activities that affect them. Maria and I have built a relationship based on complete transparency about technology, finances, and any activities that could affect both of us. It's a much healthier dynamic than I had with Cheryl, because it's based on mutual respect and informed consent rather than secrecy and exploitation. 2 years after the criminal prosecution, I received an unexpected letter from Cheryl in prison. "Roos," she wrote, "I've had a lot of time to think about what I did and the harm it caused you. I want you to know that I understand now that what I did was wrong. I convinced myself that I was building a business and providing for our family, but I was actually exploiting you and violating your privacy in the worst possible way. I stole your most intimate moments and sold them to strangers for money. I turned our marriage into a performance for people who paid to watch your private life. There's no excuse for what I did, and no amount of money justified violating your trust and privacy. I'm sorry for the pain I caused you and for the years of deception and exploitation. I hope you can find peace and happiness with someone who respects your privacy and treats you as a partner rather than as content for exploitation. I also want you to know that I've been working with other women in prison who have similar stories, helping them understand that what we did was wrong and helping them plan better lives when they're released." The letter was the first time Cheryl had taken full responsibility for her actions without trying to justify them as business decisions or entrepreneurship. Reading it provided some closure, though it didn't change the consequences of her actions or erase the harm she'd caused. 3 years after discovering the streaming operation, I've rebuilt my life with a deeper understanding of privacy rights, consent, and the importance of transparency in relationships. The experience taught me that technology can be used to exploit people in ways that weren't possible in previous generations, and that legal protections for privacy are essential in the digital age. It also taught me that financial success doesn't justify violating other people's rights, and that entrepreneurship must be based on ethical business practices rather than exploitation. Most importantly, it taught me that fighting back against exploitation is necessary for justice and healing, even when it means destroying relationships and facing difficult legal battles. The streaming operation that Cheryl thought would make us financially independent actually destroyed our marriage and led to her imprisonment, while teaching me valuable lessons about protecting my rights and privacy. My name is Roosevelt Roos Jackson. I'm 55 years old, and 3 years ago I discovered that my wife had been live streaming our bedroom to over 2,000 paying subscribers for 3 years, earning over $500,000 while I slept completely unaware that thousands of strangers were watching our most private moments. Cheryl had convinced herself that turning our private life into entertainment for paying customers was entrepreneurship rather than exploitation, and that my privacy was less important than her financial success. She'd installed hidden cameras throughout our house and broadcast our daily life 24 hours a day to subscribers who paid premium rates for access to intimate content featuring me without my knowledge or consent. When I discovered the operation, Cheryl refused to acknowledge the violation and insisted that she had the right to monetize her life even when it included exploiting mine. But I fought back through the legal system and held her accountable for the privacy violations and commercial exploitation. Cheryl was sentenced to 18 months in prison and ordered to pay $550,000 in restitution for the unauthorized use of my likeness and invasion of my privacy. The legal victory restored my sense of agency and sent a clear message that this type of digital exploitation won't be tolerated. I learned that technology can be used to violate privacy in unprecedented ways, but that legal protections exist for people who are willing to fight for their rights. I also learned that transparency and consent are essential foundations for any relationship, and that financial success never justifies exploiting other people without their knowledge or permission. Cheryl's streaming empire collapsed when I discovered it and fought back, proving that exploitation only works when victims remain unaware and don't defend their rights. Sometimes the person who thinks they're building a business at your expense is actually building their own destruction. Look at your screen right now. You'll see 2 more stories waiting for you. Both from men like me who discovered the truth too late, but not too late to fight back. Click on whichever one speaks to you. And hit that notification bell if you want to join our brotherhood of men who refuse to be played for fools. Until next time, remember, the truth always comes out, and when it does, be ready.